Doctor Who's 60th special, The Giggle, sets up a lot for the upcoming Whoniverse. Definitely enough to keep us theorizing until we actually get started this Christmas. From Unit's new base, to all the new characters who will no doubt make a reappearance in the future, to the possible big scary bad guy the Toymaker brings up to 14, the one who waits. The one I want to focus on today is the small little golden tooth. See, apparently a dying master came across the Toymaker. Maybe he was looking for him, maybe he just happened to stumble across the Celestial, we don't know. We just know that the master was dying, and the Toymaker, such a kind soul, offered to save him. But he would only do it if the master beat the god at a game. Now, we all know the master by now. He really values life. His own life. He really values his own life. If there's a way for him to keep it, he'll take it. Forget the consequences. So he agrees to the rules, he loses, and as punishment, the Toymaker sealed him away in his golden tooth. Hearing this, I was kind of like, what? Like that sentence sounded like something out of a fairy tale. Man who wants to continue living challenges a god for a longer life. He loses and gets sealed in a golden tooth. This just feels so mythological to me, and I love it. When the Toymaker was defeated, somehow, maybe it was done on purpose, you know the Toymaker loves the drama, the golden tooth was the only thing that was left behind when the Toymaker was sealed in that box. The tooth was left with no one noticing, except one person with really red nail polish noticed and picked it up as we heard the laughter of past masters, which reminded me of the pocket watch back in series 3 with the master's voice inside. Now, I'll be honest, I really don't want to see the Master as a villain again. I mean, it's like he's the only other Time Lord who does something for some reason. When in reality, there are plenty of renegade Time Lords flying around in Doctor Who lore. I mean, there are honestly a bunch of renegade Time Lords who just travel and don't make much of a fuss. But there are evil ones too. How long have people been thinking that the Rani was gonna come back? And remember the Monk? Omega? I mean, I know I've said it before, but I would love for the 11 to come into TV. Tastefully, of course. But I would love to see him on screen because he's my favorite Time Lord villain. A lot of that has to do with the actor who plays him. But we always end up going back to the Master. So yeah, at first the idea of them coming back filled me with dread. But then I thought about who picked up the tooth. The hand seemed to belong to a woman. And as for the red nails, going back, I was wondering if there was someone with those nails. And lo and behold, there was one person. Kate Lethbridge Stewart. Now, as far as how she picked up that tooth, I'll be honest, I don't know. We see her seemingly walking back inside as she asks for the names of the dead agents. So how she ends up on the far opposite side of the helipad, I got nothing. Maybe she was looking over the edge for those dead agents that the Toymaker threw off. But if we could just ignore that, let's just ignore that and have some fun, alright? Say it was her who picked up the tooth. The question would be, what's next? When the Toymaker gives us the news of the Master in the tooth, we're in his funhouse, dollhouse, playhouse thing. The only ones that heard this news were the Doctor and Donna. If it was her that picked it up, there would be no way for her to right away know what it actually was. Maybe she saw the Toymaker smile and she noticed the tooth. She then saw it on the ground again and was like, hey, that could be good bio research or something. And she just picked it up with her bare ass hands, which now that I'm thinking about is actually very unsanitary. Another reason why, maybe while she and the Toymaker were dancing, the Toymaker whispered some info in her ear real quick. He is sort of a god, so honestly, I could see him being able to do that without anybody else noticing. We also know that there will be connections to the Toymaker in future series, his Legion, so him plopping down contingencies in case he's defeated wouldn't be far off. She doesn't even really need to know what that tooth is right away. She could just grab it and do some tests on it in the future. And then that's how she finds out that the Master is inside the tooth. But I bring us back to our original question, and that is, what would come from this? Well, there has been talks of a unit series, and we've been introduced to a whole bunch of characters that could make up a regular cast for said series. Not to mention, we already have a main base ready to go. I don't think if the Master returned, he would return as a villain. And what I mean by that is, I don't think the Master is just going to come back and go back to planning and go back to going against the Doctor only to lose again. I feel like it's been done so much, and I hope that Russell feels that way too. He himself has done the Master versus the Doctor already, and with all of these changes that he's bringing to the show, why would the Doctor versus the Master be the thing that he's like, nope, that's the one that has to stay consistent, that's the one that has to remain the exact same over and over again. I feel like if he gets his hands on the Master again, he's gonna want to do something new with it. So if he's not gonna come back as the villain, what will he be? Well, if he's getting picked up by Kate, and we know that she's on some kind of like recruiting spree right now, she's recruiting anyone with a pulse and ties with the Doctor, I think it'd be interesting if she tried to recruit him. And I know that's absolutely crazy, but let's imagine that for a second. Kate wants the best working for her. She could never get the Doctor working under unit day in and day out like he used to back during his third incarnation. It's just not gonna happen. Probably not unless the TARDIS leaves him stranded again. But to have a Time Lord helping you, that's a huge leg up. So if she can't get the Doctor, but she has a chance with the Master, that would make a lot of things easier as far as protecting the Earth. Having a Time Lord in the office with you, that's a good chess piece. There are risks, obviously, and she knows this. She firsthand knows what the Master is capable of. But say that she has like a contingency plan, like freaking Suicide Squad, putting a bomb in his brain or something like that. I think that would give her the chance to recruit him. And I also think, like, in a meta sense, those risks, the fear of him finding a way of turning off the bomb, him killing everyone before they can activate the bomb, him, instead of stopping the oncoming alien invasion, instead works with them and makes things worse, those risks will keep viewers super engaged in the beginning of the series. Because he really would be like a loose cannon. No, not a loose cannon. He would be a sentient cannon that's continuously trying to point himself at you. That would bring in good tension. It kind of reminds me of this show called The Blacklist. I think I've watched like one episode, but the premise, I'm pretty sure, is this super criminal gets himself caught by the CIA or the FBI, and he helps them find a bunch of other super criminals. I think it'd be interesting if the Master played a role like that. And as the unit series continues, we see them slowly come to like, or dare I say, love his human team. She'd learn compassion and, probably not want to murder so many people. There would still be that edge in the character, but he'd be able to control it better. He could be the team's tech and alien guy. He'd have all the knowledge on alien tech and species, as well as time tech, that would greatly help the team. He wouldn't have a TARDIS, so it's not like they'd just be whisking people away through time and space. He'd basically be the third Doctor when he was stranded on Earth during his run. The idea has already been done before with the Doctor, so having it be done with the Master, even though he is a Time Lord, even though he can regenerate and all that stuff, it's still a possible premise. And he won't be like too overpowered or too smart to be a part of this group. It would fit. I mean, it's worked before, so it could work again. This would most likely be a whole new Master. If I had to guess, the Master that came to the Toymaker was probably Sacha Dhawans. He was dying last time we saw him because of the effect of his device, so the timeline does fit. And since the Toymaker never actually healed him, the Master would still be dying and forced to regenerate. Maybe this regeneration would be close to, or his actual last one. So that's why he asked the Toymaker for help. This would be a whole new Master, up to date. That way people don't think, well, it doesn't matter because he's going to end up being Sacha Dhawan eventually and go back to being evil. This would be the Master coming out of an evil regeneration, going down the path of good again, and actually staying there, at least for a very long time. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, it's the Master. They're supposed to be the bad guy, right? And I say to you, who says? The Master has been around for so long that you can flip the script and have them become permanently good. That's the good thing about long-running series like Doctor Who. There is no set in stone rule, other than the fact that the Doctor has to travel in a blue police box. And even then, even that has been tampered with. Remember the Third Doctor being stranded on Earth. When it comes to characters, you can change their role, make them something new. You have to if you want to keep the stories interesting. They did that with Missy, and she became so many people's favorite Master. Of course, Michelle Gomez had a big part to play in that as well. I think it's also pretty cool to imagine the Master becoming a good character and having future fans look back in the series and go, hey, you know the Master actually used to be a really evil guy? Yeah, look back at the classic series and the revival series. Man was a completely different character. And then I can be there in my rocking chair going, I was there when the Master took over the world and danced to the Scissor Sisters. I think a very fun interaction would be 15 and this new Master. There was a Big Finish story that recently came out for the 60th. It was called Once in Future Time, Lord Immemorial. Spoilers up ahead if you guys were planning on listening to that story. In that story or episode or whatever, the Ninth Doctor actually meets up with the Lumiat, a good Master who takes place between Missy and Sacha Dhawan's Master. The Lumiat is good. Like, she changed her ways and just wants to help. She's apparently sugar and spice and everything nice. Ninth Doctor doesn't believe that for a second though, and is just not in the mood for her changing of heart. That's probably the closest we're gonna get to a Ninth Doctor Master story for a while. But that's the interaction that I would imagine we would get. The Doctor has already tried the whole redemption thing with the Master. You know, he offered his hand to Missy, she said no, he doesn't know what happened afterwards, and the next thing the Doctor knows, the Master is back causing chaos, killing the Time Lords, stealing the Doctor's body, causing her to regenerate. I mean, I'd understand if he was wary about any kind of redemption that has to do with the Master. There's definitely an interesting storyline there, and that shows you don't need an evil Master to get those kind of interesting stories. It'd be cool just to see the Master fighting alongside the Doctor, either maybe in the main series, or maybe have the Doctor cross over in the Unit series. Then the episode ends, they go their separate ways, and the Master is still good, you know? But that's basically my idea for a good Master, a Master who's a series regular for a Unit series. I think, like I said, it'd be interesting to see him have that change of heart and then slowly be okay with all these humans around him. And then you won't need the bomb anymore, and he'd still be good even if they took it out or if it got deactivated somehow or something like that. I'm talking about the bomb in his head. They don't have to do it like that. They can maybe find a different way of reining in the Master. Like I said, I just think that'd be really, really interesting, and it'd be a change of pace for the Master to make him a good guy, at least during RTD's era, you know? But yeah, that's basically it. Tell me what you guys think of this idea. Tell me what you would like to see from the Master. If it's not him being good, then what would you like? Would you like to just see him go up against the Doctor, you know, have Shudigawa versus whatever Master comes from this next regeneration, if he regenerates, or maybe he will be Sacha Dhawan during this era too. I don't know. I just think that it'd be a good idea to clean the slate, start over, and this time have him on the path of good. But that's my thoughts. I'd love to hear you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you next time. Until then, bye.